right, so hey guys, this is Samantha with this news story that's continuing as far as Biden's administration giving illegal immigrants $450,000 per person for separating their families. This is coming from the New York Post or nypost.com, published October 29th at 11:25 a.m. So it says GOP blasts Biden for $450,000 per person payout to illegal immigrant families. Republican lawmakers are blasting reports that the Biden administration is discussing paying almost $500,000 per person to illegal immigrants who were separated from their families at the southern border during the Trump administration, calling it insanity, unacceptable, and a slap in the face. First reported by the Wall Street Journal on Thursday, the Departments of Justice, Homeland Security, and Health and Human Services are considering the payments in order to settle lawsuits filed by the American Civil Liberties Union and others on behalf of families who crossed into the U.S. from Mexico illegally to seek asylum. The families are separated under former President Donald Trump's zero-tolerance policy in 2018. So this is interesting. So I'm like, should we go the American Civil Liberties Union route to get reparations for ADOS? So while the average demand in each lawsuit amounts to around $3.4 million per family, the Biden administration is considering $450,000 per person, around $1 million per family. Republicans, many of whom supported Trump's immigration policies, took to Twitter to lambast the potential payouts. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy called the idea of payments to migrants a slap in the face. Insanity. Rewarding illegal immigrants with hundreds of thousands of taxpayer dollars is the ultimate insult to law-abiding citizens, Representative Steve Womack of Arkansas wrote, and also a Republican. President Biden wants to send the IRS to surveil your bank account while cutting checks with your money to people who've broken our laws. House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy, Republican in California, echoed Womack's sentiments, calling it a slap in the face. Pure insanity. The Biden administration is reportedly looking to pay $450,000 to illegal immigrants who knowingly broke the law, he tweeted. It's a slap in the face to our law-abiding citizens who wake up, go to work, and pay their taxes. So former Vice President Mike Pence, who stood by Trump's policy while the two were in office and after, called the potential payments unacceptable. 1 second. Okay, so of course their whole policy of the southern border has been a disaster from day one, he said during an appearance on Fox and Friends on Friday. On Fox and Friends Friday. It's remarkable to think that under our administration we built 400 miles of border wall, and literally by implementing what was known as the Remain in Mexico policy, we reduced illegal immigration by 90%. But the reality is that they've unleashed the worst border crisis in more than 30 years, he added, of the current administration. And it's all been because of dismantling policies that were working, but also sending a message south of the border that America's borders are open to people coming north and entering our country illegally or abusing our asylum system. More lawmakers chimed in Thursday night. It's unthinkable to pay a burglar who broke into your home for the psychological trauma they endured during the crime, Senator Tom Cotton, Republican in Arkansas, tweeted. Yet the Biden admin wants to reward migrants who illegally entered our country with up to $450,000 each for just that reason. Insanity. Representative Dan Crenshaw, Republican of Texas, also slapped the reported payments, comparing them to payments sent to families after a relative is killed in action. Representative Dan Crenshaw, Republican of Texas, said families of service members killed in action only get an insurance payment of $400,000. Biden wants to pay illegal immigrants $450,000 for their hardship while breaking our laws, he tweeted. For perspective, if a service member is killed in action, their next of kin gets an insurance payment of $400,000. Let that sink in. Others hope the journal's report was in error. I just about fell out of my chair when I read this, Senator Lindsey Graham of South Carolina, a Republican, also said. For the sake of our country, I hope this reporting is in error. This would be an outrage. Representative Doug Lamborn of Colorado, a Republican, noted the extreme difference in the $450,000 payments compared to the $1,300 stimulus checks sent to Americans during the coronavirus pandemic, slamming Biden's priorities. For the sake of our country, I hope this reporting is in error. This would be an outrage, to Senator Lindsey Graham. Senator Tom Cotton called the idea unthinkable. Joe Biden gave Americans a $1,300 check, but wants to give illegal immigrants $450,000, which is more than the 9/11 Victims Compensation Fund, and it's more than what ADOS, American Descendants of Slavery, have received, because we have received $0 in funding as far as compensation for all that we have endured in this racist country. Amidst rising inflation, this is how he wants to spend your money. Priorities, he wrote. Many lawmakers noted how the potential payouts would come out of taxpayers' pockets, calling it unacceptable and madness. Unacceptable report says Biden admin considering payments of $450,000 per person to people who cross the border illegal. Those are taxpayer dollars. We should not be paying anything to people who break our laws. Senator Chuck Grassley of Iowa, also a Republican, wrote. Joe Biden wants to raise your taxes but give $450,000 to illegal immigrants. Biden is putting America last, Representative Ken Buck of Colorado, Republican, tweeted. Senator Chuck Grassley said we shouldn't be paying anyone who breaks our country's laws. President Biden wants to provide $450,000 payouts to illegal immigrants who cross the border unlawfully. This is pure madness and an insult to hardworking taxpayers. Representative Tim Walberg of Michigan, also a Republican, said. Wisconsin Representative Brian Stale blasted the move as it comes when the border is wide open. Our border is wide open, and now Biden is in talks to pay illegal immigrants $450,000. This is unbelievable, he wrote. So this leads me right into my next story. Apparently there's a caravan that is on the way to the U.S., and this story is from Fox News, published 8 hours ago. It said, migrant caravan rejects visa offers from Mexican officials, keeps going towards the U.S. The caravan set off toward the U.S. last week. I think that I would be heading towards the U.S. too if I knew that they were going to pay me for breaking the law of entering America. So it says, a massive caravan of thousands of migrants has rejected an offer of humanitarian visas from some of the travelers and is continuing with its journey to the United States border. The Mexican National Institute of Migration said in a statement that it offered humanitarian visas to women and children in the caravan, but said it was rejected by leaders of the caravan, which set off from southern Mexico last week. One of the leaders told Reuters that they were distrustful of the authorities who they said had broken promises to them in the past, and that the deal involved them reporting to government shelters and possibly being moved across states. The migrants currently in Yulapa will leave later Saturday and head to Mapastepec as they walk at night to beat the heat of the day as they take their chances to get into the United States via the southern border, where there were more than 1.7 million migrant encounters in fiscal year 2021. Organizer Luis Garcia Villagran had told Fox News earlier this year that there were approximately 4,000 migrants in the caravan, with 1,256 under the age of 7, over 400 between the ages of 7 and 18, more than 100 babies under 1, and 65 pregnant women. So they are definitely coming over with their anchor babies. So this is very problematic. This is very problematic. And this is what the Democrats want. They want the Mexicans and the Latinos, Latinx, whatever they're calling themselves, the Hispanics, they want them to replace the African American vote. They want to silence African Americans. The best strategy for us that I have been following with Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore is for us to vote down ballot. Do not vote for the Democratic president. Write in ADOS and vote for your interest only. That will help your family and Black people as a collective. And you vote for everyone else. The governor, the attorney general, the mayor, the sheriff, the judges, etc. Not really that difficult of a strategy to grasp. I think the huge problem with African Americans and why we will stay at the bottom as a permanent underclass is because we cannot get our heads out of our asses. We cannot figure out a strategy and stick to it. Everybody's running this way, everyone's running that way. Other groups, they find out what they want, whether it's citizenship or, equal rights to getting married, etc., and they move forward. African Americans, aka ADOS, we cannot even agree on what we want to be called. Some people are saying FBA. Some people are calling themselves B1. Some people are saying we're foundational. Native Americans, like, we can't figure it out. We can't figure it out. And because of that, first, you can't find out what you want to be called. Secondly, you can't figure out what you're fighting for. Thirdly, you don't know how to fight for it. Because what are you fighting for? I am really just like over it. Like I tell my sons, I am just focusing on my family, making sure we're good, get our land, do what we can to try to insulate ourselves from what is coming. If ADOS peoples, American descendants of slavery, do not get themselves organized and together and on one accord, we will fail. We are doomed to fail, and we will never get another chance. There's more and more Mexicans entering our country. They are all on one accord. They know what they're coming for. They're coming for citizenship. They're coming to replace us. Period. They've been here 2 seconds, and they're already getting reparations. They got their attorneys. They're fighting for their civil liberties. What are we doing? Why haven't we won reparations yet? What are we doing wrong? It took this long just for African Americans to realize we deserved reparations. You had people talking about it was a handout. And these are black people talking about it as a handout. I don't need no chick. It's blah, blah, blah. Just so many different stories. And I'm like, what is wrong with you? No one has been held accountable for what has happened to us. And honestly, I'm at the point where I'm like, it's happened. It just keeps happening. The time just keeps ticking. So the longer African Americans take to get their shit together, the more likely we will never see reparations. That's the problem. It's like we don't have forever. We just don't. And we have so many problems plaguing our community. I'm sick of it. We're talking about don't have black babies. Black men are stalking black women. Like, what the hell are they doing? Stop stalking us. What is wrong with you? Then you got the black guys that's running over to Becky because they don't want to fix themselves. It's exhausting. This is why I haven't marched for anyone, anywhere. I haven't taken any part in any kind of pro-black organization. I'm just tired. I'm tired. I'm tired of our people being confused about some shit that's really effing obvious. Like, I don't know what the confusion is about. We need reparations. We need our money. It's not about your ego or you being arrogant. Humble yourself and admit that a crime was committed against us. And this is justice for our ancestors and for us. I don't know what's so hard about that. I don't know why that's so hard to get. I don't know why people have a million effing questions. Just go to the people who know what they're doing. No one asked you, Joe Blow from the corner, to figure out how we're going to get paid, who's going to pay it. That's not our job to figure that out. This is a debt owed, and it needs to be paid. And while you guys are sitting on the street corners or doing whatever, getting your hair and nails done, talking in your little beauty salons looking silly, Mexicans are getting their money. They're getting their checks. Native Americans, they're getting their checks. Jews, And everyone else, they're getting their money. 9/11 victims, getting their money. Everyone else who's seen a tragedy that just happened 2 seconds ago, nowhere near on the level of the slavery that we had to endure for 400 something years. They're getting their money. You don't see them talking about, I don't need a check. If anything, they're fighting for more money. They don't think it's enough. In this article that I just read, they said they originally went for $3.4 million. The $450,000 is the settlement amount. We're the brokest group in this country, and we wonder why. You want to pretend like you're not impoverished, but do you have $500 in your savings account? Do you even have a savings account? This shit is a fucking joke. Listen to Yvette Carnell and Antonio Moore. Log into ADOS101.com. Educate yourself and stop talking out of the side of your ass. I don't want to hear anybody else's strategies. I'm tired of black people trying to reinvent a wheel. How's that working for us? It's not. Everybody wants to be a know-it-all. I have 2 Mexican families that live on my street. They have a lot of people that live in their homes. They don't live by themselves. They work as a team. One of the families has a lot of trucks for their business. I think it's landscaping. I don't effing know. I just know they have their own business and the trucks look like they're brand new. Meanwhile, you have black people who everyone's living alone, can't work together to save our lives. And now we're talking about not even having baby boys. While this country is being overran by Mexicans, we're talking about stopping giving birth to some of our children, to basically half of our population, because usually it's 50% boys and 50% girls. Women are talking about not giving up their womb, not having children, and at the end of the day, it's strength in numbers. So what else do we propose we're going to be doing to survive? We're all supposed to just marry Brad and hope for the best, that it doesn't turn out like a Gloria Williams and Brian Coulter situation. Anyways, guys, leave your comments below. Let me know what you think about this story. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Peace.